Pretty much just wanted to go over my trade that I took today, my reason behind my trade, my exits, my entries, how I built my thesis around my trade, and so on. So today was a choppy session, at open, right? Very choppy session at open. So let's go on Tesla on the higher time frame. This was my game plan coming into today. I ended up taking a trade off this, and this was right off the pre-market plan, right? Plan your trade, trade your plan. So this was our no trade zone. I was looking for a break and retest over 410. Obviously, we rallied up very well prior to that. So I was looking for either a pullback long off this 410 or a break and retest over this 423, targeting upside. Like I've said, in my pre-market plan video, as long as we are above 410, we are not looking to short Tesla. And this is just beautiful to see, right? Key level to key level, right? Key level to key level. That is beautiful. I'm very happy that, we are closing the day like this because now I would love us to break over this 445. Like I've been saying all last week, as soon as we get over that, there's nothing in its way. But nevertheless, today's game plan was, a break and retest over this 423.15, targeting the upside. And let's go into the intraday session. So, if you traded today, if you were just watching today, you can clearly see that we had a very choppy open right for the first 2 hours. Um, and I took a good loss here, a $2,000 loss on the dot. And if you watch my live trading session video, I always say, I've said today, my goal as a trader, because everything is easy to say in hindsight, is for any trade that I take, win or lose, I want to be able to look back on that trade and say I would 100% take that trade again. And today, the loss that I took on Tesla, I would 100% take that trade again. So let's break it down. Right, you can clearly see we had a choppy session at open. These first couple of candles here were very big, excuse me, and bullish. So let me zoom in here. Okay, here we go. Zoom out just a little bit. Perfect. So coming into today's session, I was looking for the break and retest over 423.15, right? So anything under this level was irrelevant to me. Like I said, I'm not looking to short this name as long as we are above 410, right? So if you watched the pre-market video yesterday, I explained thoroughly on why, right? This was the candle I entered on, right? Right? This strong bullish momentum green breakout candle, right? I always say the most important entry criteria to the break and retest is displacement, right? I want to see that buyers are in control, sellers are in control, right? So as you can see, we're chopping around. We broke above here. That wasn't a good displacement candle. We fell below. I'm ignoring it. I'm not looking to short. And we get this strong bullish momentum candle to the upside, right? That's exactly what I was looking for. Big candle, body of the candle closed way up here. I'm looking for my retest. Beautiful, right? And you'll see all this in the live trade that I'll end at the end of this video. Um, it makes sense, right? Where I enter, you see buyers step in, and you'll see me perfectly respect my stop loss and get out of this trade, right? And understanding market context matters. Understanding market conditions matter, right? I'm very big on being one and done. That is part of my edge. I'm looking for one trade a day, win or lose, walk away, right? A trade a day keeps the whole away, is what I'm saying. So right, beautiful. This is my entry criteria. Checked off all my boxes. We had QQQ and SPY pushing to the upside, right? Soon as we retest here, I enter long, right? Buyers tried to step in and defend this. You can see this wick here, which means price did push up here. You'll see in the live trade, we tried to defend this, right? We did have a very big wick here. We tried to defend this. And as you can see, right, after we got over this 423.15, right, we did end up holding this. We did end up holding this. And this makes me confident, right, happy going forward. My thesis was correct, right? My game plan based on the higher time frame context was correct, right? I mean, this is textbook. As soon as we hold over 423.15, what do? We gravitate towards the next higher time frame key level. I mean, that's beautiful, right? So my target here was looking for high day just to see if we would hold and get some continuation higher. Obviously, we didn't. But what I really want to break down here is where a lot of traders go wrong, right? They can't accept their loss, they revenge trade, and this is how they blow their account, right? So after I got stopped out here, I was not looking to re-enter this trade at all, right? Maybe you could have entered here. Even we got a couple of break and retest here, right? But understand the conditions. I saw instantly, and if you go watch today's live trading session that I posted, the entire session, you'll hear me say like there's not much going on. There is a lot of consolidation. this is not clean price action, right? So understanding market conditions is very big, right? I wasn't looking to push on the gas after getting stopped out very quickly there. So respecting my stop loss, and if you have a hard, like if you lack discipline to respect your stop loss, right? I highly recommend just exiting your trade as soon as your stop loss hits. Now for me, I always say I treat my key levels like mini zones. I want to read price action to see what happens. Do I get stopped out? I don't want to be a part of a fake out or liquidity grab, right? So you'll see in the live trade, I was very patient before selling here, and I took a 10% loss on the dot. That was beautiful. I took three strike prices out of the money, cons, because it's a Monday. I got time on my side. I'm not really worried about theta, and it was a perfect, a little bit over a 2-to-1, right? And once those cons go into the money, I paid the 430 calls. Once those contracts go into the money, they start to print. So I'm willing to risk 2,000 to make 6, 8, 10 to the upside. I mean, look at the continuation we had after we held over this key level, right? That's beautiful. So the first 2 hours was just really choppy. There was nothing there. I took my loss, I accepted it, and I moved on. So I really just want to break that down, right? Not every trade, when you take a loss, you're looking to re-enter, right? Take your loss, zoom out and understand what's going on. So this gives me confidence, right? Trading is all about probabilities, not certainties. And this loss was just, probabilities weren't in my favor, right? I win, I move on. I lose, I move on. And this was a really good shot. I would 100% take this again. My thesis was correct, right? I'm taking trades off a higher time frame key level, so you have to give them a little bit of room. But I don't want to give this too much room, right? So even if you re-entered here, right? I stopped out here. I stopped out on this 646 candle, right? There's no way I'm holding way down here or way down here, right? So just understanding like, all right, we're just ranging. The first couple of hours are open, and then soon as we, finally got above that, beautiful continuation to the upside. So this was a really good shot. My thesis was correct. Just probabilities weren't in my favor. So good, good shot, right? I'm taking this shot over and over again. But I'm liking this upside here on Tesla closing the market. I think that sets up, some good possibilities going later up into the week, to be honest. So let's go here on Tsla, right? Beautiful, as you can see, right? Thesis was correct. I took my shot, got stopped out, and we did start to gravitate higher after we got over that key level. Now, right, I always focus on R multiple, right? This is something that I always emphasize on, right? How much am I risking to make X amount, right? Beautiful, 2,000 on the dot. I'm risking 10% to make, right, roughly four, six, $8,000 to the upside. Now, how did I get this number, right? That's why I love TradeZilla. Just go here. This was just targeting the high a day, right? This high a day was 9,713, right? I inserted that here, right? This 967. Give me one sec. Right here, right? You can see. So look to the left, right? I just rounded it 967. So just, looking at this high of day was going to pay me this much. And I rarely scale out at the high of day. That's not really how I trade. Last week was a little bit more conservative just due to FOMC. The premiums weren't really moving that well. So I was more so in a scalper mentality last week, but I'm never really looking to scale out at high of day. I want to see high of day turn into support and then get that continuation higher, right? So really good shot here, right? I'm willing to find risk $2,000 to figure out if I can make, four, five, six, $8,000. And as you can see, we definitely got that continuation to the upside. So I hope this breakdown helps, right? Why I took this trade, how I built my thesis around the trade, my entries, my exits, and so on. So yeah, please enjoy the live trade at the end of this.
So really the main two I'm watching right now is Tesla and Apple, because they're just both at key levels that I'm looking to take a trade off of. And if you watched a pre-market plan video yesterday, you would know why. As long as we're above 410 on Tesla, really just not looking to short this name. So that 410 was a big hold. Um, it's buying the Qs, pretty much consolidating. They're both also within the pre-market high and low. So really no continuation right now. I'm starting to see a little something like this on Tesla, right? If we can get a good displacement and retest, I like it. Even Apple, right? Like this is a weekly level. I would love that. Big buyer stepping in here on Qs and SPY. This candle can close up here. I really like it. even watching Apple. Good. This is what I wanted to see here on Tesla. Now, just looking for a pullback entry. $430. What is this sitting at right now? For high day is 426. Kind of like these 430 calls. Spy in the Q is really chopping right now. Not surprised, right? Like I said, you could have went short off this, but didn't really like that with the 15-minute. Now that we got a new 15-minute candle under here, right, I will now look for a pullback off that. Watching Tesla here. Giving this a shot on Tesla. Let's push in, so I'm going to see if we hold. If not, just a bad PA day. That was a good shot.